She destroys his reputation. She destroys everything concerning this Nigerian pastor. This is a story about a girl that escaped a toxic marriage to a Nigerian pastor. Real names have been changed so that the story you can understand better than searching for their names. This is Relationship Talk with Mama J. And I'm going to tell you about how, I won't tell you her name, how she escaped. Before I tell you this story, I need you to sit down because what you're about to hear didn't happen in a movie. It happened in a church to a woman who smiled every single Sunday, who sang in the choir, who nobody, nobody thought she was drowning. Because this is the story of Grace and what she did to the man who broke her. I promise you, by the end of this video, you'll be standing up and clapping like I am right now. Welcome back to Relationship Talk with Mama J. If this is your first time here, hit the subscribe button because we tell the stories nobody else is brave enough to tell you. Join my community and you have the membership perks that you cannot afford to lose. Grace was 26 when she met Pastor Daniel. He was already known in their city, a rising voice, a known man who could fill a hall with just a voice. Man that everyone said God was clearly using. When he proposed to her after 8 months, the whole congregation was celebrated. God has finally given our pastor a wife, they said. A woman fit for a man of God. Grace believed it too. She believed she had been chosen. She quit her job in administration to support the ministry full time. She dressed the way he liked. She spoke the way he liked. She learned slowly that being a pastor's wife isn't a role. It was a performance, and she was never allowed off stage to be herself. My sisters, listen very well. My brothers, everybody that's listening, tell me where you're watching this video from. Comments. Don't tell me where you're watching it first. Which area you did. Listen to me carefully. When somebody tells you that you are chosen for a role before they even ask who you are as a person, that is not romance. That is a job description. And you deserve to be loved, not hired by your husband or by your wife. At home, Daniel the pastor was a different man entirely. He controlled the money. Every naira that came into the house went through him first. He controlled her schedule, her friendships, even which family members she was permitted to visit. He controlled everything. Because according to him, certain relationships did not carry the right spirit for a woman in her position. When Grace disagreed with him, even gently, he had one weapon he used every single time, the scripture. Twisted into a leech. A woman who cannot submit, he told her once, cannot be used by God. He said it so calmly. He said it so often that she began to believe her exhaustion was actually rebellion. Her sadness was actually a sin. And so for 6 years, Grace shrank herself smaller and smaller, trying to fit into a life that was slowly suffocating her. And she told no one. You know why? Because who punishes a pastor? They would rather laugh at her. This is what we call spiritual manipulation. And it is one of the most dangerous forms of control there is. Because the abuser isn't just controlling your body or your money, it's controlling your relationship with God, twisting the very thing that's supposed to comfort you into the thing that traps you. If a title, a rope, a position is being used to silence you, that is not covering, that is control. If you are still with me, I really want you to subscribe and share this video. Save it for the next one because I want you to stay with me to the end. Let you know what happened. First, it was an ordinary Tuesday when everything cracked open. Grace found a second phone hidden in the lining of Daniel's traveling bag. A phone with a name saved simply as Sister E. Messages going back over 2 years. Money sent quietly from the church's welfare fund. A hotel booking 3 weeks prior in a city he had told the congregation was a prayer retreat. But it wasn't just betrayal that broke Grace that night. It was message, one particular message, sent only 4 months earlier that read, "Don't worry about my wife. She doesn't ask questions. She's trained now." Aish, trained. Trained. And so Grace sat on the bathroom floor for 2 hours that night. She wasn't crying. She was just asking herself, so now maybe person they don't train. Train. You call it train. Well, that word trains, sisters, my brothers, that is the moment the mask fully comes off her face or her eyes. He did not see a wife, he saw a project he had successfully completed. And I want you to understand something. The day you stop crying, the day you stop complaining and start thinking is the day you take your power back. Start thinking for yourself. Grace did not confront Daniel that night. She did something far more dangerous to him. She got quiet and she got smart. Over the next 5 weeks, she copied every message. She photographed every bank transfer from the welfare fund. She quietly reached out to 2 other women whose names appeared in those messages and found she was not the first and not the only one currently being deceived. She opened her own bank account this time around now. She reconnected carefully, secretly with the sister-in-law Daniel had cut her off from years earlier. The one relative who still had her back. She found herself a lawyer, not the one from Daniel Church Network, but one 3 cities away who owed her old university friend a favor. And on the Sunday she chose, she did not scream. And I've been advising women most of this time, when you want to act, no need to scream. Make up your mind and take up your action. What are you screaming and shouting for? You scream, you shout. Does that make any difference? No. Grace did not scream. She stood up during testimony time in front of the entire congregation, the same congregation that had once called her chosen and asked to speak. I'm asking you, have you ever been in a position like this, where you are being manipulated, you are being controlled, how to dress, how to talk, whom to laugh with, when to go out, what time you should even go out? If you have experienced this kind of control, toxic relationship, stay with me and let's see what happened. This right here is what I need every woman watching to write down. The loudest exits are not always the strongest ones. Grace didn't fight Daniel on his terms. She didn't fight. With this volume, in this moment, she waited until she had the facts, the proof, and the room. That is not revenge. That is not revenge. That is strategy. You got to strategize. Grace stood at the front of that church and told the truth. Calmly, clearly, with dates and screenshots printed and ready in her hands. She read the trained message out loud. She named the welfare fund transfers one by one. She invited the 2 other women who stood quietly at the back to confirm what she said if anyone doubted her. The silence in that building, she said later, was the loudest sound she had ever heard. And so within a month, the church board, the same men who had once called Grace, blessed, you're blessed to be chosen, removed Daniel from the pulpit. Within 3 months, the story has spread across 3 other branches of the ministry. Within a year, Pastor Daniel was preaching to a folding table of 12 people in a rented hall, while Sister Grace had quietly returned to school, finished the qualification she abandoned for him, and started a small consultancy of her own. She never raised her voice once. She didn't have to. The truth did the shouting for her. And this is what I mean when I say a real comeback doesn't need noise. I've said it several times. A real comeback doesn't need noise. Grace's silence before that Sunday was fear. Her silence during that Sunday was power. There's a difference, and once you learn it, nobody can trap you in a reel again. Just learn the difference. Follow my page, share the video to all your friends, save it and rewatch it and rewatch it. Let all your friends know that are in a toxic relationship, that have been manipulated, that be controlled, and that they're longing to be free. This is for you. Sisters, I want to tell you this. I want you to hear me clearly. A title, pastor, husband, provider, whatever it is, engineer, chief, doctor, doesn't matter. It's not a license to control, isolate, or diminish you. If someone is using faith, love, or even your own children as leverage to keep you small, that is not covering. That is captivity dressed up in Sunday clothes. Grace's story is proof that the woman who is trained to stay quiet can also be the woman who one day chooses exactly when and how to speak and brings the whole house down with the truth alone. If this story moved you, I want you to do 3 things for me right now. Like this video so another woman who needs to hear this finds it. If you don't like it, they may not push it out. I see you. Grace, if you know someone living this exact story and you know that the person is hurting, please subscribe so you never miss this next one. Until next time, this is Mama J reminding you, you are not choosing to be silent. You are choosing to be free. You are not a furniture. You are to be free, and you are looking to be free. Wait for my next video. You will see it here. Bye.